Welcome. You're listening to Sisters with Purpose Podcast.
Welcome back to episode 8 of Sisters with Purpose, where real conversations lead to real growth. I'm Tamika.
And I'm Kimberly.
And we're about to get right into it.
Let's do it.
So, you think we should start asking our viewers questions to kind of see if they're watching our videos?
Yeah, like we're getting engagement like in our maybe DMs or something, but we really need y'all in order to have activity on our YouTube platform to kind of comment in the comments on YouTube.
Right. Because I think the people that know us are personally talking to us about it and asking us questions. And it's like, why buy the milk if I can just go straight to the cow?
And we're inching up on subscribers. So we know that the subscribers, we know that you're watching, but we want to know if you're watching the clips or if you're actually watching the whole episodes. And so talk to us in the comments.
Yes, because we are trying to keep them. We ain't no long podcasters. We get right to the point.
Yeah, y'all like it sweet and short. Now, we've heard that. They was like, y'all get to the point. We like it. There's some laughs, hee-hee, ha-has.
Yeah.
And then, hey, help us. Because what? We're sisters with purpose.
Yes.
Okay?
Got a quote or scripture today?
I have a quote.
Okay.
I have a quote of the day. And here's what it says. Listen, it says, invest in yourself. Budget your dreams. And watch your financial goals flourish.
Budget your dreams?
Yeah. We're going to talk about
Budget your dreams. I've never heard that.
Yeah, and the author is unknown.
Okay.
But when I read it, I was like, that's something different that I've heard. And so we're going to, peel that back, right? We're going to talk about that.
Budget your dreams.
Invest in yourself. Budget your dreams and watch your financial goals flourish.
All those are good topics. Dreams, financial goals,
and flourishing. And budgeting.
All right. Sounds good to me.
Okay.
Coffee cup conversations.
Ding. Okay, listen, y'all. We haven't had coffee in these coffee cups. But we've had tea, we've had water, we've had lemonade, and because it's a warm day today, we have something cool to drink, okay?
Yes.
But let's get into it.
So the weekend is here. If you watched our last episode, then you know that we talked about, it was, Mother's Day, what we did for our mothers. Kimberly shared how her children surprised her. We talked about our mom. And so the weekends, the summer is here, it's getting warmer. So we have a busy, in what I would say, summer 2026. Like personally, family-wise, individually, like there's just a lot going on. So we have been busy before the summer hit. So this past weekend, we were away. We weren't away for the weekend, but I felt like it was the weekend. But we went to Florida to visit our brother because he is our vacation home.
Yes.
So that was nice to just be in the vitamin D because we really haven't had that here. And it was my siblings and I. So it was my mom. It was like an extended Mother's Day.
Yeah.
Weekend for our mom. And we just had some nice time there. We did some shopping. And it was just nice. Only then to come back. And we don't even have to say it anymore. But we did that. And that was a nice weekend. So now we're prepping. We had our first catering event for the food truck. So that was nice. We did a birthday party. So it was just busy. It was just like busy, but it was like a fun busy.
It was a good busy.
But that's kind of like my recap from the weekend.
Yeah, while it was busy, we had some downtime, quality time with, like she said, siblings and mom. We were all in the same space at one time. Our older sister, it was her first time actually visiting our brother. where he is in Florida. And so it was just nice to have all of us together, some nostalgic moments, memories, laughs, and talking. And yeah, it was just a good time. It was short, but it was sweet.
Yes.
Yeah.
We like short and sweet. Like y'all like these podcast episodes is short and sweet.
That part. But I do need an extended one.
Yeah.
Yeah. I need something where I'm just letting my hair down, not working.
Well, you know what? I'm really proud of you because she actually did not bring her laptop.
I did not.
Every time we travel.
You're right.
Let me just be honest. Kimberly's going to have her work laptop. Not because she really has to, but it's because she doesn't kind of want to, and what I think, because I was like, this, don't want to get behind. So she'll just bring it in the event she can just peep her head in. But for the first time since she's, she did not bring her laptop. And I was like, I meant to tell you that when we were there. I was like,
no.
Come on, miss, don't got her laptop this time because you would see her over. All right, y'all, I got to log into a meeting.
Baby,
I got to log into a meeting. I just be like, girl, we on vacation. But I'm proud of her. She did not bring her laptop, which was.
Baby, listen, I thought about that thing and I said, no.
Because, baby, I don't be bringing them on.
Yeah. But I said no.
Yeah.
I'm not doing it. And I didn't feel, and I did have to prepare myself to not think about it. You know what I mean? And I prayed. I did. I asked the Lord, I said, Lord, just please take any of the anxiety and thoughts away from, not the fear of missing out, but what do I have to go back to? Right. And I was like, no, just let me have a nice time. Let me be, present.
Yeah.
Let me be present with my family and spend that quality time. And it was the best time. I came back and I was like this. But I did not think about it while we were away.
Yeah,
I had the best time.
Good.
And so, it was great. And I'm going to do more of that.
That's good. You should. These are Sisters with Purpose Spotlight.
Yeah. You know what? I just want to spotlight. I've been seeing, it is graduation.
Oh, yes.
Time
for
graduation season for colleges.
Yes.
And I've just been seeing, the elevation and the appreciation of Black women.
Yes.
Whether they were keynote speakers.
Oh, yes.
Or whether they were invited to, an award ceremony for college students and things like that. I had just been seeing that. And that just brought joy to me. Yeah. I was like, I love that because, us as Black women as of late, as of the past 5 to 6 years.
Yeah.
It's been daunting to see, how we've been presented or exposed in social media, in the workplace environment with layoffs and things like that. And so it was just good to see. I saw CEOs, right? I saw educators in high positions, VPs and deans and things like that. And I don't have a specific name,
right? But
just seeing that because we're in that season. That just brought joy to me and a smile, and I was like, man, that's good to just see right now.
I think I saw Queen Latifah was the keynote speaker at a college.
Yes, she was.
And she dropped some gems.
She did.
Okay,
she did.
But I was like, I love seeing us.
Yeah.
Regardless of what field or genre we're in, speaking life into students. Yeah. And I think it comes along with, somebody said a long time ago, they said, if you want motivation, if you want correction, if you want open arms and love, if you want a meal, find a Black woman. Not even just a mother, but a Black woman. We're always just reaching that extra hand out to help any and everybody because it's like we have this built-in motherly instinct, even if you're connected to us or not. Do. And so I did see, it's nice that you did that because I have seen a lot of Black women across the board.
I love it. And actually,
feeding people.
Queen Latifah, I think a part of her speech was she was talking about dreams. Yep. She was talking about dreams and send kudos, to all of our Black women who have been highlighted in that respect. So yes, mwah, We love you.
Awesome job.
Yeah.
Hey, you want to tell the people what our topic is today?
So, yes, just getting right into it. And we kind of have a flow now, right? You see how this is going, right? With the quote or the verse or whatever. So our topic is, okay, here it is. Romanticizing your life without breaking the bank. Romanticizing your life without breaking the bank. And just like, we were talking about, the quote. And so we're just going to talk about those ways where you can romanticize your life, right? Without saying, oh, I don't have enough money to do this, or, oh, I'm saving for this. And there's ways that, you can just romanticize. You want to kick it off, or you want me to?
I've been romanticized. I feel like, me personally.
What does it mean?
I've been romanticizing my life as long as I can remember. And I think a lot of times, like, I feel like I've always romanticized my life. Like, I just said to, who did I just say that? I just said this to somebody that I ended up bumping into. And I said, why do women feel like they have to wait for a man to get them flowers, or take them to the movies, or buy them lunch, or invite them somewhere? So for me, romanticizing your life means doing things for yourself without the expectation of someone else doing it. So for instance, if I want flowers, I go to our local flower shop or Produce Junction, and I go and get me flowers if I want fresh flowers in my house, because I like flowers. If I want dinner, I make reservations. I'll take myself on a date. Romanticizing your life is, in my opinion, spoiling yourself or giving yourself those treats, or those creating memories for yourself without waiting for someone. And so I'll share some of the ways that I romanticize my life over the years, and it be on a budget. But I will take myself on a solo date out to dinner. I will go get myself ice cream if I felt like I just want an ice cream date. And even just, taking the time like we did in the respite, and just going and sitting at the beach, or, just taking a nice ride on a bike, or just even riding in your car with the windows down. And what does it mean to you?
Okay. I think I've never really used that terminology, right? I've always heard it, over time, but I think romanticizing your life ties into self-care, right? And it also, romanticizing your life just doesn't mean you're in a certain status, a certain marital status. Like, you don't have to be single just to romanticize your life, right? You can be in a relationship. You can be, married. You can have children and still romanticize your life. And so, when we were prepping to talk about this topic, I was like, well, I've never used that terminology, but it really is kind of like self-care. Just like you said, like, what are the things that you as an individual want to do, where you don't have to wait on anyone else to do that, right? You're just like you said, you're not waiting for a delivery, of flowers, right? You can go to the florist and pick out your own flowers. There's that saying, stop to smell the roses. Like, literally do that. And so, romanticizing means I would just say, I'm using my own words, have a good time with yourself. Just have a good time with yourself. And, we can give moments of how we have, actually exercised that. And what are some pointers on how to go about doing that.
And I think, so one of the things I think that you can romanticize yourself is having an emotional connection with yourself.
Okay.
Right? I remember I was watching something, and it said, a man that cries, a black man that cries, is emotionally aware, right? But if you think about it, growing up, you don't see a lot of men. No. They are not they're not emotionally aware, because it's like, as a kid, it was like, don't cry. You shouldn't be crying, right?
Right.
And so having an emotional connection with yourself. I've always been emotional in a way of, I don't like to get emotional because I think it'll make other people emotional. So for instance, if something is sad has happened, I will hold my emotion so that I don't trigger someone else's emotion. I realized about myself like a couple of years ago. Like, I'll hold it unless it's unbearable, and then I have to, but I'll hold it because I don't want to put anyone else in that emotional space, right? Because they may not want to be in that space, or they may too just be holding their emotions for a reason.
Yeah.
But romanticizing yourself can also be having that emotional connection. So I love rom-coms. And this is where I'm going with this. I love a good rom-com. I will watch the same rom-com over and over. And I do it because I like to feel the feeling of emotional connection, whether it's, and if it's a happy one, right? Those endorphins, like I just want to, like, so I'll watch, Seriously Single. I'll watch that. I think that's the one I told you about. Seriously Single. I was like, you gotta watch this.
Yes, that.
I will watch that over and over and over again. And it starts off like kind of like sad in the beginning, but the end is such a happy feeling because she discovers herself, she finds herself, she realizes I was chasing wanting to be with someone for so long that when I stopped chasing it, I realized I'm really happy with me. I'm happy with my time and the things I do for myself. So I love rom-coms. So that is one way that I kind of like find that emotional connection, like to just cry, even if it's happy tears. If I just be sitting there and I'd be like, oh, why am I crying about this movie? I'm like, oh, it's so nice to see movies. Like, and my sister, I would share movies with her. Like, I think it was a couple months ago. I was like, oh, you should watch this. And she was like, is this sad?
Yeah, because I'm like, no.
She's like, is this sad? Because if it's sad, I don't want to watch it. But you have to be in that space. So just being, having an emotional closeness is one way to romanticize, because it's okay to feel. Feelings are romance, right? Romance is an expression of deep connection to something. That's what romance is. That's a definition of romance. So just having that. So that's one of mine. Like, I love that emotional closeness, and so I like rom-com. So when I want to feel like
that's good
relationshipness, I'll watch like
that's rom-com. Good. I think about when I was having therapy sessions. One of the things that my therapist would tell me is to feel your feelings. Yeah. Right. And that's a part of it. It's like, when you're watching shows or rom-coms like that, like, you're vulnerable, right? And I think that's a space where we need to be comfortable in, is feeling our feelings. And even if we see something on a show where we can relate to that, right. You know what I mean? Just feeling those feelings and just allow yourself to be free. So yeah, that's a good example of romanticizing yourself. Some of mine, I was looking at it. I like to, and I haven't done it in a while, but kind of like, I would think romanticizing your life is also hobbies. Yes. Like, what are some of your hobbies? Like, I love taking pictures, right? And so a couple weekends ago, one of my nieces, my great niece, was turning 3 years old. So she called me and she was like, Auntie, do you mind taking pictures at the party? Right. And so it had been a while since I had done that. And I was like, oh man, it reminded me, I do enjoy doing this. Right. So sometimes you can be reminded of the things that you like to do. And that's a part of romanticizing, because I had a good time. Click, click.
Yeah, she's taking a couple of my pictures. Yeah,
your graduation.
A lot of my pictures, actually.
Yeah, for your doctoral. Or whatever.
Yeah, birthday.
So I love doing that. So that's a part of romanticizing is, what are the things that you enjoy? And, part two that we're going to talk about is, how do we do that on a budget, right? Even when I think you just mentioned where you take yourself to the movies. Yes. There's a promotion that goes on a certain theater that we go to, and on a particular day, the movie is $7. Yes. Like, I just went to go watch The Devil Wears Prada 2.
I'm going tomorrow.
For $7. Okay.
$7.
I had my popcorn that I brought from home, my kettle popcorn, right? Because the movies don't serve kettle. I like buttery popcorn, but I like kettle popcorn.
Yeah, but I can only eat popcorn if it's caramel or cheese.
Not me. I don't like popcorn. So baby, I had my bag of kettle popcorn, and I had my water, and I had my Mentos. I had my strawberry lemonade. Yes, I did.
A whole snack pack in her bag from home.
What are we talking
about?
Who
does it?
Yeah, romanticizing your life on a budget, right?
Yep.
So, things like that. And I went and I enjoyed myself. I took myself, you kind of shared this with me is like you've always romanticized your life, but dating yourself.
Yeah, man.
That's a part of romanticizing. And you don't have to be single to do that.
Right.
And one of the things that I'm realizing now is even, after marriage, like these are things that you can do while you're married,
right.
while you're in a relationship. Like take that time, ladies.
Yeah.
Take that time. And the gents who are looking, right? Take that time for yourself. Go. My son has even, listen, my son, oldest son who is married, right? And has 2 boys. He will call me. I've heard, like, he'll take himself on a date.
Yeah.
Because there's certain movies. I think it's, what is it? Star Wars? Star Wars.
Marvel and stuff like that.
Yeah, those Marvel movies. And so, his wife, my daughter-in-law doesn't particularly like those type of movies. Right. He will go.
And that's nice. You have to have that time. Even when you're in a relationship, you have to have your still individual time because it makes you appreciate, honestly.
It does.
The partnership that you have. But if you're so always doing partnership, and you forget your hobbies and the things you love, then it can be a little overwhelming. Yeah. So you still have to take that respite away from your norm to still have time to do things for yourself.
Yeah.
You really
absolutely.
do. And when you said what you do about taking the pictures, it came up here that romanticizing your life means creating an atmosphere that feels soft, fulfilling, inspiring, or peaceful to you.
That's right.
So you were saying, I started taking those pictures and I remembered how much I loved doing it. And so that was fulfilling and peaceful to her. So you have to find things that are meaning for you and joy that gives you joy in the everyday moments. Yeah. A lot of times people wait for something big. Like she could have been like something special, but it really can be something that you want to do every day. Like, you know what? I want to go sit at the beach and put my toes in the sand and just wiggle. Why? Because that's peaceful to me. Yeah. That's fulfilling for me. I know that there are some people and hopefully someone who is watching this will hear this, but they feel like they can't do things alone. I remember I went to a restaurant. This is when I really first started, and I was in a relationship, and I went to a restaurant, took myself out on a date. I was like, I wanted to go to this restaurant. He don't eat this type of food, so I'm going to go.
Right.
And I remember somebody they commented on my story, and they was like, you by yourself? And I was like, yeah. They was like, I thought you was in a relationship though. I was like, I am, but I wanted to come by myself. And they was like, oh, you're not afraid to do that? And I said, what, eat by myself?
Exactly. Like, what, did he need to pick up the fork and feed you?
No, I'm not afraid to eat by myself. But then when I talked to them later on, they were like, I'm so afraid to do that. They like, I just feel like people will look at me like, that's weird. Oh, they must be lonely. I said, I don't care what people think. If I'm hungry, I'm going to go eat.
And see, that's the thing. We've talked about it in the other episodes is, don't take in what people may think, right? Because, you don't know what they're thinking. So for you to hold on to that, oh, you're afraid of what they're going to think or what they're going to do. Like, who cares? Do what you want to do and what brings you joy, what brings you peace. If it's not interacting with anybody else, and it's something that you want to do and that you enjoy, why should you be concerned about what people think?
Yeah, we talked about it in our last episode. We did. Not over explaining yourself. Do what you want to do because that's what brings you joy.
Yeah, and even in addition to that, just the little things, just the small, simple things. When we talk about romanticizing yourself, right? We talk about those feel-good moments. And I love, one of the things that I like to do is I like to, spray, like body spray, when I'm getting ready to go down for the evening or whatever. And I don't know who I was on the phone. I don't know if it was...
We were with our cousin. Remember I came out the bathroom and she was like, you got
Yes. So, we were on a trip, right? And our cousin came to the hotel to visit us and just to stop in. And it was late. And so we were kind of like turning in, but we was in our PJs. It was just females or whatever. Right. And we were coming out and Tamika comes out of the bathroom or whatever, and she smelled her when she passed by or whatever. She was like, you have on perfume? And Tamika was like, yeah. And she was like, you spray perfume? And we was like, Yeah, we do. She was like, you too? I was like, yeah, girl. Like, I want to smell. I want to smell good. It makes me feel good.
Fulfilling,
you know, and fulfilling. And even the expensive perfume. Like, you know, they say, you know, like, you know, I'm bringing back a nostalgic moment.
Which one?
You know, I'm just bringing back the nostalgic moment, you know, with the China. The expensive China.
Oh, yes. You couldn't eat on.
And you couldn't eat on. It's sitting in the curio. And we ain't
looking at us.
Looking at us like, you know, wait till next Thanksgiving, whatever. Like, no. Take that China out and eat on it.
That's
even if
good.
You got a cut up sandwich and some potato chips. I don't have to go somewhere special to spray that on. Even if I'm just going out shopping or grocery shopping, I'm not going to say any names because you know I'm not going to promote the name. But I'm going to pull that perfume out and
I know that's
sure will. Even okay, I didn't think we were going to come back to this, but you know I work the food truck, you know. And so my niece came in, and you know we always greet each other and hug or whatever. And she said, "Oh, you smell good, TT." Because I had on I wanted to smell good.
Yeah,
so
like we already coming out smelling like grease.
Yeah, who wants to? I'm gonna come in smelling one way. Yeah. But yes, you know, so take those moments, ladies.
How do you create little rituals when you're romanticizing yourself without breaking a budget? Give me one example.
I think I'll just go back to the movies, right? Okay. And so if there's a movie that's coming out, I'm going to make time to go see that, right? You have to be intentional.
Yep.
Right? Yep. And I was intentional that I was going to see that movie. Yep. I was also intentional that I was going to go see it on a budget.
Yeah. Right.
And I went and I had a good time. And so I think you just have to be intentional. Right? Mm-hmm. And then say, I'm going to do this. And don't worry about what anybody else says.
So ways that I will romanticize my life without breaking the bank, I will create a spa in my bathroom. Now, I could go to the spa every day because it's just so fulfilling and joyful. Yeah, because I ain't trying to give them no $100 every time I go to the bank. I will run some water in the bathtub, put some good old bubble bath in there, some Epsom salt, light some candles, and I'll take a bath with the lights off with candles around.
Oh, yeah.
That's a budget. Oh. I'm getting the spa feel without breaking the bank.
A mood. It is a vibe to just sit there and relax, especially if you have a deep tub.
You got a real deep tub.
You have the little pillow. You have a little pillow you can sit. Girl. What?
I don't got it.
But I'm just saying, you got the bubble bath.
Yeah, she got to
have that visual, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
And you put your little towel around there. You got put your little your little cucumbers on your eyes and just lay back and relax. Yeah. And just set the mood, just like you said. So
very much so.
Setting that mood, it's a resort within, you know, the confines of wherever you are. Yeah. So make that resort. Yeah. Y'all can do it, ladies. That's a good one. I like that one.
How do you romanticize yourself through fashion, through clothes?
Through fashion and through clothes. You know what? Because I work from home, right? There are some moments where I just don't want to wear, you know, okay, I know I have on a t-shirt, you know, and some little capris today, but there are some moments where like I want to, you know, cutesy up, right? Loungewear. You remember, ladies, loungewear was huge or whatever. Yeah. And so there was all types, and I was on every website, just getting loungewear. And so I'll put on a nice little loungewear, put my earrings in, put my earrings in, spray some cologne, some perfume, and put on my little fuzzy, put on my little fuzzy slippers and feel good. Go downstairs, fix me some tea. Okay. And just have a nice time.
I would agree. Like, I think for me, my style, my fashion, there's a certain aesthetic that I like. I was a big fan of Sex and the City. Carrie Bradshaw was my girl. You know what I'm saying? I was like, oh, I think that's when I really started paying real close attention to fashion and style. But I also think our dad was very stylish. And so I think just seeing him back in the day, pictures, and just seeing how he dressed and how he took very particular care of things, just made me really just dive into fashion more. So she wears loungewear. So for me, my aesthetic is, I love, like, if I'm going to be going, like, I don't know, a winery, that, you know, just to kind of like romanticize my life, I'm going to wear something oversized and flowy. And when you look at, like, when you think about the women who have gone to they're having all these expensive things, right? And it's just like, mine can come right from Walmart.
Right.
And I love the aesthetic of looking expensive, romantic with that, but on a budget. Right. Like, my outfit could be $15 and people are like, oh my God, I love your outfit. Where'd you get it from? Walmart.
Yeah.
Like, I don't have no problem sharing that. Like, I don't try to make it something that it's not. And so you can also, you know, romanticize yourself in how you are dressing. Like she says, she wears, you know, loungewear and slippers. When I go places, I want things to just be fun and free and flowy because it just gives me like this. It makes me feel good. It brings me joy to see my stuff flowing. And remember, that's what romanticizing your life is. It's creating memories and moments for yourself, regardless if you're in a relationship, if you're not in a relationship, if you have kids. You can still romanticize your life too, even if you have kids. If you're a mom and you have toddlers who are Velcro babies, sit them to the side, put them in a high chair or something, and go and take a moment. Yeah. Whether it's just sitting in the tub for a few hours, taking a nice hot shower with some eucalyptus hanging down so the steam can that's all about romanticizing. Even if it's just for 10, 15 minutes. No, that's good. You deserve that time of romanticizing your life on a budget. You don't have to spend a whole bunch of money to do that.
Oh, I love consignment stores, you know, and we used to travel to consignment stores. Like, we'll go to Philadelphia, you know, in the Maryland, DC areas. Like, we would be intentional about, okay, where is a consignment store? Because again, you can find very nice quality clothing that's been, you know, worn and gently used, and it's just of high quality, but you know, on a budget. And so mixing and matching, right? Mixing and matching high end and low end. That's romanticizing yourself on a budget. Like, I can't tell you how many compliments I've gotten off of an outfit that the majority of it was consignment. Right. And it's, ladies, it's how you make items look. Yeah. Right. And so again, you know, just romanticizing when it comes to dress and style, you can do that on a budget in a way where no one would ever know. And it's not that you're trying to hide it, but again, you want to be, very mindful and intentional on how you spend your dollars. Right. I mean, when I go back to the quote where it was like, you know, budget your dreams. Right. If there's something that you want, save, right? And, you know, put it towards, you know, your dream. And it could be, you know, whether small or big. Like, you've dreamed of having, let's just say, a high-end bag. Right. And you've dreamed of having this since you were a child or whatever. You know, you're on a budget right now, but put those $10, $20 away so that when it's time, you can get that bag that you've always wanted. So just little things like that. It doesn't mean that, you know, you'll never be able to, you know, just buy the item and just swipe the card. But again, we're talking about romanticizing your life on a budget.
Romanticizing your life on a budget doesn't mean you are limited. What it means is be intentional about the ways you can romanticize your life where you don't have to spend a whole lot of money. And for the people who say, well, I don't really go out like that, or I'm not really a person that does the movies, or I don't really do the restaurant. Well, that's fine. You can romanticize yourself, even just spending quiet time in your house with a book, a good book, or romanticizing your life by just sitting down and maybe soaking your feet in some hot water and giving yourself a home pedicure. There are things that you can do at home if you are a person who is more introverted and you don't really want to be out like that. So we want to make sure that we're, sharing all the ways you can do that, because I don't always want to go out, but I will sit down and I'll do my nails. That's me romanticizing my life. I find joy in completing my nails and seeing the design at the end. Things that I'm doing, and I'm doing it on a budget. And so we definitely want to hear how you all romanticize your life on a budget, because I'm sure there's some ladies out there that have some ways that that we probably haven't even thought about. I didn't even think about that. And so we definitely want to hear from you. If you're new here, welcome. If you are returning, thank you. But please, drop in the comment ways that you have romanticized your life on a budget, because trust me, ladies, sharing is caring. We need each other. We all we got at this point. We need to start sharing some of the tips and tricks that we have on how we're doing some of the things that we're doing.
And here's just 5 I think we kind of touched on most of them, right? But you just talked about setting the vibe, right? The bubble bath in my home, documenting it all. We talked about my photography, memories, right? Slow down and savor, right? Just take that quality time. Start your day with intention. I think that's the common theme throughout all of our episodes, right? Is just be intentional about everything, and then eat like you love yourself, So just finding those things that bring you joy, whether it's, a cup of, yogurt with fruit or whatever, eating with that intention and staying healthy and making you feel
good. Have you a little bougie parfait.
And
you ain't got to spend a whole bunch of money at some of these places. Make your own parfait.
That's it. And just make yourself feel special. Yes. So we love you, ladies, and we hope you enjoy.
Make sure that you subscribe, share. Join us next time for episode 9 of Sisters with Purpose. And until next time, bye.